This is Let's Talk with me, Turife, and my co-host will introduce herself. Hey, tuko Christmas season. Are you guys feeling the Christmassy? Are you feeling the anxiety before you start the new year? And I do understand the period between Christmas and New Year's. It's just a haze. You never know which day it is. So I'm here to tell you it is actually on a Thursday. And because we're standing on business, we actually started the new year, or the first is actually on a Monday. Imagine. Standing on business. Even my birthday fell on a Monday and was like, what is this? What do you mean my birthday is on a Monday? Standing on business. So that's the motto we're using as we get into the new year. But apart from that, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. And of course, as the year is coming to an end, and there's so many things that we're appreciative for. There's so many things that we are recognizing. There's so many major feats that have been accomplished in this one year. And obviously, one of those is, of course, the movement for women to represent themselves, especially women who've been, who've undergone a little bit of trauma or a lot of trauma. And we've seen a lot of people being called out on this. PDD is one of the most recent ones. And that case is still going on in court. Of course, he still hasn't gotten enough of a backlash, in my opinion, anyway, because all of this, as I said, is still alleged. None of it has been proven. But it's the way that he quickly shut down the Cassie story that's giving me a lot of sus energy. Like 24 hours, this man paid upwards of 30 million USD. That's a lot of money just to make someone go away quietly. Of course, there is something that needs to be investigated there. But hey, you know what? It is a good thing. Some people are getting punishments where they shouldn't be getting punishments, but life no balance. Life no balance. The one thing we need to be doing more of is having a lot more representation, but in bite sizes. Let's not do too much. Sometimes the icing is too much on this cake. Okay. Anyway, welcome to the show. My name is Kathomi. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
And speaking of the Christmas seasons, there are just these things that you had to do growing up. When you think about the festive season growing up, there are a few things that really stand out to you. And because you're an adult who carries their traumas and burdens and all their happy little moments, and you want to recreate it, over time they become traditions. But one of the things that really stood out for me during Christmas is, Akigai, growing up poor is weird, because we used to know that Christmas ni siku ya soda. So, that 2-liter soda was a must-have. And I remember how excited we would get. Na ilikuwa inaisha yote hiyo siku. That same day, munakunywa soda hadi munakuwa lazy, drunk with power. And my mom would create this, she used to call it a punch. Oh, my God, the trauma, the flashback. She would mix different sodas.
All the sodas.
Yes, all of them, mix them into a jug, and that would be her punch. And we loved it. Kwa hivyo 2-liter, every flavor. And then you mix them, and then you finish them in one afternoon. Tell me why you would be mad at me, the child, for being rowdy and jumping upwards of the ceiling. You fed me sugar that I've not been experiencing all 365 days, madam. But that's one of the things that stands out for me when I remember Christmas.
I think for me was, for some reason, my dad was never around he was always working during Christmas. So the 1 or 2 times where he would actually be there for Christmas, my dad is actually an international chef. So the 1 or 2 times that he'd actually be around, he would make us mutura. But you're thinking about this regular mutura. No. That was the first time that I was probably in class 3 when I learned that papaya, popo, is used as a meat tenderizer. I did not know this, because I'm looking at this man chopping up all the innards, chopping up the things, the blood and all of that, putting it in the what do you call it, that skinny thingy for the intestines so you can make mutura, but then mixing it up with popo. I'm like, why are we adding popo? Why are we adding fruits? Fruits is coming into meat, how? And that's the first time I realized that, oh yeah, it actually works. But just that one day where you would have like a full-on meat and food fest. Like you would eat and gorge yourselves. Yes, the punch was always slapping. Don't play with it. It would slap heavy. But that nyama, the eating. And it would be like a combination of like families in the ploti who would then come together and do like a whole celebration. We would just start. Moms would be waking up at like 5 to start cooking. Yani wameamka 5 kwanza kupika. Yo, the chapatis you would eat, that is the one day you could eat as many chapatis as you wanted and nobody would be counting them for you. You know, you would gorge yourself like a crazy person. You're sick because of how much you've eaten. Insanity. It was so much fun.
Recently, we had this lady on TikTok who was actually being chastised by people because she painted her child's Christmas tree because it was too much. It was too colorful to fit the theme and aesthetics of her tree, which was beige and just toned down colors. It looked good, if we're being honest, but it did not look child friendly. And we were all going ham on her. But now looking back, I realize sometimes when you come from a very chaotic household, as an adult, you really want a minimal, lifestyle. You don't want to be a hoarder. You don't want to do too much. And then I went back to how we used to decorate the house during Christmas. This is a very lovely Christmas tree we have here. It's classy. It's not doing too much. You can tell there was a budget going on with the ornaments and everything. But as we had those shine, ile vitu ya kuweka graduation, so that's what we used to have. And because they're very super cheap, you would have loads of them. You put them with tape, stick them with tape all around the house. Your house just looks chaotic. But because the children want a festive kind of thing, that's what we would go for. And now looking back, I'm like, it took me a long time before I even had a Christmas tree, just because I didn't like the clutter that came with it. So I think that's one of the things that I used to do the most. The lights around your tree, I always go for the white ones. The very classy, they're dainty, they're not doing too much. Because growing up, we used to do ile colors yote inametameta colors. It's green, it's red, it's yellow, it's blue and everything. Yes, it looked good for us in our children's eyes, but also it was just clutter. It was just a lot. So now my tradition is simpler. Do it simpler, but do it nicely.
Minimal and clean. I like it. The soft touch of Christmas. You're the snow in the chaos. I love it. I love it. I think one of the things that I will never ever forget, for me personally, will always be Boniem. Because Boniem, y'all, let me tell you, I went down, Feliz Navidad. And the one thing that I will now add to that mix, because my dad is a crazy person, is that we had our neighbors just on the same floor. We had a neighbor. They were very young guys. The Paul, and he had a few other brothers and I think a sister. And now we were on this other side. So it's like with that side of the ploti, and then us guys are on the other extreme end of the ploti on the same floor. So like it would be, my dad would, hey, there's one thing my father will invest in, it will be sound system.
Okay.
Yani sound system. He don't play. He don't play. So basically what would happen is those guys, Akina Paul, would start cranking up some music. Feliz Navidad, Chinyamaji. My dad it would be like his alarm. It's time. He would bust out his Boniem tapes. I'll never forget, it was green, side A and side B. And let me tell you, Maina, anaongezea wamefika volume number 10, yanafika 15, wanaongeza inafika 17, anaongeza inakuwa 21. So basically all you're hearing is just like shouting at each other in the house, because my dad is in constant competition to play the loudest Christmas music, because his Christmas is more Christmas than your Christmas. And the whole building would just be hearing music from two houses, and it would always be Boniem. Side A ikiisha, tunarudi side B. Mkikaka kidogo side B meisha, you have to take it out. Faith, let a biro. Because you have to rewind that stuff, remember? It wasn't Sikuza CDs. In case some of this is lost to you, baby girl.
Oh my God.
It's okay. You would not take the biro and just pew, and the tape just goes all the way around and back to side A, and then you now place it on side A. And that would literally be the theme of Christmas from the 24th, the 25th, the 20th, all the way until New Year's. Guess what you're listening to? Boniem, side A and side B. Okay? Don't play with it.
It used to be kind of funny because You go back to school, people are talking about Taylor Swift, and me, I'm just saying Daddy Cool. And they're like, what do you mean?
Daddy cool.
What is Daddy Cool? You know, what is that?
Let's not get into Daddy cool.
And the crowning jewel, the mark that you're really having a festival in your house, is Chapae, fam. Chapae. What do you mean? Chapae. Kama kwenyu hakuna chapati, you're the poorest of the poor. I don't know what to tell you. But that used to be the mark, you know? Heri tu mama yako wa saving you to 1 shilling every day. Hadi apate pesa ya chapati. But chapae,
bro.
fam.
Chapae.
Yo.
It was, for us now, it was like baked goods in general, because it would be chapatis, mandazis. My mom would always make cake, because I don't know why, she was just like on a, and it, you know, the way I was brought up can really just tell you what kind of person I am now, because I really do love my pastries and my breads. Mkate na mimi lazima tupatane mahali kwa kiti chamber. Did your mom always do the like mandazis, and then nobody would eat them the first day, and then on the last day there are like 3 left, and people are like fighting for the 3? The last 3 chapos, same was up. You're like, why are we fighting for this? Like, they've been here the whole time, but the last 2 or 3 chapos, my God.
That's what we want.
Insanity. Sure. But in addition to that, let's not forget the good old faithful. Y'all must go to church. Before all of this punch, before all of this chapati, before all of this partying and buniems,
church must
y'all must go to church. You must attend the longest,
I thought it was my parents only
service
doing this thing.
Hey. Those services seemed like the longest ones. You'd go to service 1, and then children are obviously told now to go to, what do you call it? That's Bible school thingy?
Sunday school.
Sunday school. Yes, so then the kids would have to go to Sunday school, and then after that, there's a congregation, so there's a chamas. You guys, you know, you need to changia people who have less fortunate, so you have to do like an outreach program, and then you go back home to eat. Like, it was really giving a lot. It was too much church for me. And that's the 24th, the 25th, the 26th. Boxing Day, ati Boxing Day. Are you mad? Lazima tuende tukamsifu Bwana kwanza, alafu tukuje tufanye Boxing Day. Wow! Never understanding what Boxing Day mean. You know, my whole life as a kid, I thought Boxing Day was like a day where you'd sit down and watch boxing. Because like, as kids, we didn't get gifts. Like, our gifts were like the new clothes. Kwanzaa, Christmas, your morning. My friend, the way you're smelling yourself, brand new drip. Don't play with it. Yeah. But that's the end of your gift. Like, that was point blank period. I'll never forget, we used to go to, like, there was a market down in Githurai 45. There used to be a big market where like they'd have clothes. Basically, Githurai 45 used to be like the Du Bois of now, the where is the place people go? The Eastleigh of back then. So guys would go all the way to Githurai 45. There were shops with like brand new clothes from Turkey and all of it. Was like a whole concoction of like all kinds of things you would want. So you'd go buy clothes, manapima nguo,
dirty jeans,
Puma,
dirty jeans.
What was the other one? Fat cat. Ilikuwa inaitwa fat. Hey, don't play with it. Mimi nilikuwa navalishanga rinda, kakofia, and sports shoes.
Hey,
and sports shoes and jeans. Stockings. All the way until I got to like class 5 or class 6 is when I stopped wearing that. So I would intentionally tear my shoes. My sports shoes, so I wasn't forced to wear a dress and sports shoes. Like the trauma. The things
that really stood out for us during, when we were growing up. But most of all, it's just if that year you get to, reunite with your cousins and all of you get together. If you're not doing like a family dinner, it's not a family thing anymore, and all the families are meeting, that used to be it. New water megada. I remember when my shosho was alive, we would all go to my shosho's house, all the cousins. We're like 20 children in that house, and trust me, we'll sleep over. We will sleep over. Some will stay to the 27th, 28th, 29th. Your wiki. That confusing week, this confusing week we're in, we would all be at my grandmother's house, all the cousins. And we would fit, by the way. In a 2-bedroom house, my grandma sleeps alone. So that 1 bedroom and the sitting room. Raha ni kulala sitting room. Mnatandika woke up the pillows, you remove them from the chairs and tandika them. It was so fun. But yeah, I really miss that.
Of course, there's the awesome parts where like my grandpa would like slaughter a goat, and me being the tomboy that I always was, I would always go and look at the goat being slaughtered and then scream afterwards because of how gory it is. But I would still want to be there with the boys because y'all aren't gonna cancel me, and all of that other good stuff. And being forced to do dishes because you're a woman. There was all that fun misogyny that happened. We love it. We love to see it. However, for me, I hated the fact that my mom would always ship us down. Like, it was every alternating Christmas, she would ship us down, and she wouldn't even take us herself. No.
Mnaeka kwa matatu.
Si tulikuwa tunakujua na Angkor. Anatukujia hapo, what do you call it, Thika Road, hapo Roysambu. He would pick us up from there, and then he would take us to Gishagi. Your time umeshukwa braids, and then they've chomaed it hapa chini. And then, because it was really cool, remember that thing where they take the black sellotape and then like tie it around? So it'd be like a bob with like a little thing. Y'all, let me tell you, I've been gangster.
Guys.
I've been gangster. Like, don't play with. If you remember this, having to choma the braid and then
the black tape
for
electronics.
Yes. The black tape for electronics would be wrapped around every single one of your braids. And then my mom would always insist on short braids because when they're too long, then you're a child, it's a lot. But I always wanted longer braids. So every time I'd go be shukwat, I would try and make it longer. So she'd come, do it herself, snip, burn, and tape. Don't play with her.
Yeah, and speaking of grandparents and being shipped to Ushago, can we just call out modern day grandparents? I feel like they're not taking their role seriously. They're all about, oh, I have a 9-to-5 job. What do you mean? This is a conversation I'm always having with my mom because she used to ship us to her mother. Every weekend, if we're not going to her mother's house, we are going to my father's side of the family. We're shipped to Nanyuki. And I'm like, why? For what reason? Why are you just, exporting us over there and then you're staying, you and your husband, at home alone? For why? For what? For what reason? And now I cannot do it because she has a job. She has a 9-to-5. Natosha Goenyewe is in Nairobi. So it really doesn't make sense. It's like, can I put you in a taxi and, pick up my child? Just track my child until he gets to you. Yeah, it doesn't make sense anymore. But I feel like the role of grandparents, they're not grandparenting the way they used to do on their own parents. Yeah, your role has gone down significantly.
Yeah, even the energy of like wanting you to come home for Christmas. Yeah, there's like usually it would be like a done deal. Like y'all are going to be for Christmas.
You're going
like
to
you will celebrate 24th and your 25th mkwe
like I have plans.
It's the fact that they don't even bring it up. It's like you have to bring it up. You need to be the mom. Nina, you've got to be the one to bring it up. Otherwise, they're never gonna bring it up.
I called my mom. I was like, "How plan your Christmas?" Akasema, "Oh, my church and I are going to Mombasa, so I think maybe we can do something on the New Year's." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I am your child. How dare you be busy?" But I don't know about you guys. Did we miss anything? Do you feel like there's one tradition you're carrying on from your childhood? The number is 0770-729-366.
And if you are planning on doing a play at church, because those ones also were very much on theme, lazima mkuwa mna practice ile wimbo ya Christmas.
Ina Shakespeare.
Na lazima mwende act. Mfundishwa ku act. Na dance ya Baby Jesus. If you're doing that, or if you're telling your children to do it, power to you, babes. Power to you. You're doing well.
I miss being young. I really miss that. I miss that energy,
Hell no.
You're going to church to practice. Anyway, I think it's time for us to help out somebody in need. It is time for us, the girls. Dun, 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 dun.
Hang out with the baddest duo in East Africa, Central Africa, and the rest of the region. At me if you want to. And right